Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC on ESPN Overeem versus Rozenstruik. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. But wait one sec, before I get into the main card predictions, I'm going to put a little note in there that I will be in attendance at this event, and this will be my first time being in attendance, like actually there live for a UFC event. And it's because it's in DC, and that's where I reside, in DC. So I think last time a UFC card came to DC was the Cruz versus Mighty Mouse card, which was like 2011. So it's been at least like 8 years since then. I don't know, it could have been 2011, 2012, it could have been 2010, but it's been a minute. Since then, Mighty Mouse went on to become champion and defended several times, lose the belt, etc. Went to won and become champion over there, or a tournament champion over there. Cruz did what he did, and since that fight, he went on like 2 4-year hiatuses. So it's been a minute. And I didn't go to the first one all those years ago, so I saw that after all these years that they came back to DC, like I gotta go. So I'll be in attendance. It will be my first time ever been live at a UFC event. So I'm gonna be there. I'll probably vlog it somewhat, and I'll post it on this channel because it will be fitting for this channel because it's MMA related. So I'll probably make a vlog about it and maybe do some reactions, etc., while I'm there. But that's all I had to say for that. So now on to what this video is really about, the prediction. So in our first fight on the main card, we have in the bantamweight division, Cody Stamann versus Song Yadong. So look at this fight. I always look at Cody Stamann. He's not like a super stellar fighter. Oh, he's striking is so amazing. Or his wrestling is so textbook and so amazing. Like he's some superstar wrestler or some superstar striker or some superstar athlete. I see Cody Stamann is straight up. He's a workman's fighter. He's not super phenomenal in the area, but he's tough and he'll outwork you, outgrind you, and he'll break you down and beat you. He'll oftentimes be losing the first round, maybe even some of the second round. Then he'll outgrind you, come on strong in that second round, and then start to break away in that third round with his stamina. But okay, wrestling offense, he's a solid fighter. Now look at Song Yadong, fighter with solid takedown defense, pretty underrated grappling, and heavy hands and solid striking. Good footwork as well. And what I kind of see this fight playing, like I said, Cody Stamann's a guy that's going to outwork you, but it's not like his pace is super high. Like, well, sometimes it's super high, especially if you get those takedowns. Like, if you can't get the takedowns, his pace kind of drops, or struggle to get the takedown, then his pace drops a bit. I think that's what Yadong could do against him in this fight. Yadong has good takedown defense, very strong, very tight, compact fighter, and like very good hips. It's gonna be hard to take him down. And then with Yadong's power, Stamann's gonna have to respect that, or he's gonna get hurt. He does have a solid chin, but any man can get hurt. And I think Yadong has the power to hurt Stamann, which is going to make him respect that power, and already struggling with the takedown defense of Yadong. So I feel in this fight, and also Yadong doesn't have a pace where he necessarily blows himself out. He fights a real good, solid pace, but he's not a fighter that blows his wad out. He's always behind his strikes. He's always just setting stuff up real well, clean with his technique. So he's not a guy that's going to blow his wad, trying to go for a finish or trying to do something spectacular. He's going to keep it, tight, compact, defend his shot, defend Stamann shots and land big shots. I think he lands the cleaner shots. He lands the more volume shots. And I think he beats Stamann in a competitive fight, but I think it's pretty clear. Stamann might win a round, but I don't think he'll win 2. But I think Yadong's cleaner technique is going to prevail in this one, and his style I think between 2 matches up better for this matchup, in my opinion. So in this fight, I got Song Yadong via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Aspen Ladd versus Yana Kunitskaya. So look at this fight. Yana Kunitskaya's striking is very awkward, very weird. She is the longer fighter, taller fighter, but she fights very weird. She doesn't really use her range that well or her reach that well. Kind of throw some flaily, weak strikes out there, which she really is a fighter that wants to take you down and grapple with you and get on top of you and land some ground and pound. That's really what she wants to do. But against Aspen Ladd has solid grappling. She has solid cardio. She has solid power and strikes. She has solid striking. Last fight showed that her striking certainly isn't the top tier of striking for the women's division. But that was against probably the best striker in women's MMA at the moment, probably, or at least top 3 women strikers in MMA right now, probably in women's MMA history. Not in pure kick striking history, but as far as this MMA striking period, what's her name? Jermaine Durandamy is definitely up there. And people are going to sleep on her a little bit, maybe. I don't know if they are or not, but you definitely should not sleep on Jermaine Durandamy striking. But that's besides the point. Kunitskaya striking shouldn't even be in the same conversation as Jermaine Durandamy striking. So really, what I'm saying is Kunitskaya, she could throw some volume on her striking on the feet, but she's really not a threat on the feet. Well, she is a threat if she could get on top of you. That's about it. And Aspen Ladd is a solid grappler as well, and she's respectable on the feet. So I think really in this fight, you kind of fighting a one-dimensional fighter versus the younger up-and-coming talent that coming off her first setback in her career, or her first real setback, or first huge setback in her career. But still, Aspen an MMA fighter that's more well-rounded typically is a fighter that will prevail unless that one fighter is so phenomenal in that one area, which Kunitskaya is not. So I see Aspen could beat her on the ground or on the feet. And I just think Aspen kind of starts to competitive first round and starts to break away the fight as the rounds go on, start to break Kunitskaya down. I don't know if she necessarily finished her, but I think she comes close to finish her in this fight. But I think eventually she just starts to break it away and wins a pretty clear-cut decision, maybe even a 10-8 third round, but doesn't get the finish. So in this fight, I got Aspen Ladd via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Stefan Struve versus Ben Rothwell. So this fight is a very 50-50 toss-up fight in my opinion. Stefan Struve might not be looking phenomenal at the moment, but he's not looking all that bad. Ben Rothwell, he's not necessarily looking bad except in that Andrei Arlovski fight. His last fight, he looked bad, but the other fights didn't necessarily look bad. Like he just wasn't able to fire against Junior Santos. That was years ago, and Junior Santos just fought vintage against him in that fight. In his fight against I forget the guy's name, but the former champion of the World Series is a fight, and that guy right there. I thought it was a fight he kind of could have won, but it was a close, weird fight, and he was coming off a layoff, and he didn't have his drugs, etc. But still, on a 3-fight losing streak, that's never a good thing. Even if you look decent in those 3 fights losing, it's not a good thing to be on a 3-fight losing streak. Where Struve was looking like textbook Struve, like he's about to get knocked out in the last fight, and then I think in the second round, the opponent slowed down, which was typical of that opponent. The guy took him down for whatever reason, or it was, matter of fact, he dropped him, and it was on Struve, and then got submitted. So whatever case, but yeah, vintage Struve. But history aside, I'm going not off recency. I'm going off their styles. Both are big men. Struve obviously much taller, but I think Rothwell got much more size to him. Rothwell got power. Struve has some decent striking at times, solid grappling. But I don't really think Struve can submit Rothwell necessarily. I don't think the highest chance of submitting Rothwell. Rothwell hasn't been submitted in years. Actually submitted a couple good fighters. And I'm kind of straying all around the place with this fight prediction because it's a 50-50 fight, trying to find an angle where I would say this guy will win. And then what I'm going to say is that Struve really can't submit Rothwell necessarily. He doesn't have the highest chance of submitting Rothwell, whereas Rothwell has a fair chance of putting Struve away. Matter of fact, in this fight, Struve doesn't really have any chance of really finishing Rothwell. I don't think see really a high chance of knocking Rothwell out. Rothwell has a solid chin, with or without drugs, or if they even have effect, or they were effect. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say in his history, Rothwell has typically had a very sturdy chin. Took shots from Mark Hunt, multiple shots from Mark Hunt, shots from big overhands from Junior Santos. So Rothwell has been taking a lot of good shots. He has a good chin. It's hard to finish him. And even as Cain Velasquez's finish over him was very questionable. It's not like he was knocked out with just accumulation. They just stopped the fight. And he was standing up. But yeah. So very hard. It's a hard sell that he'll knock out Rothwell. It's a hard sell that he'll submit Rothwell. Whereas Rothwell has a very good, real chance of knocking Struve out. Struve, as tall as he is, doesn't move his head. He stands straight upright. And Rothwell, though he's still giving up a lot of height to Struve, he's still much bigger than a lot of people that been able to catch up and touch Struve. Because Struve, like I said, he doesn't move that head very much. He's standing straight up. And Rothwell has the power to connect on that chin. That's not going to really be moving. And Struve going to be up there upright. And I think Rothwell can rock him on the feet and be on the ground with him and do damage. He's not going to be on the ground and get submitted unless he gets real sloppy, which I just don't see. So really, I just see this fight as a kind of a sloppy heavyweight fight in a way. But I mean, Rothwell's toughness, his power, and Struve's inability to move his head, or the unwillingness to move his head, is going to get him caught. Then he'll get put on the ground and get finished with ground and pound. And I think it happens in the second round. So in this fight, I got Ben Rothwell via second round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the women's strawweight division, Marina Rodriguez versus Cynthia Calvillo. So again, this is another one of these 50-50 fights. Rodriguez is surging right now. Calvillo was surging. Then she lost to the former champion, Carla Esparza. Then I think she rebounded. I think she was on a 1 or 2 fight winning streak. But yeah, she's on a 2 fight winning streak. So this is a very tough fight right here. But what I see with Marina Rodriguez's strength over Calvillo is she has a little bit more height. I think she's 5'7" versus 5'4" Calvillo. Where Calvillo has advantage is that she's the more well-rounded fighter. Rodriguez more so wants to stand with you. She might do a couple submissions off her back, but she's really not that take you down and work with you. She's not really that fighter that has super phenomenal takedown defense. Whereas Calvillo is really not necessarily weak in any area her striking is pretty up to par with the current level of women's striking. Her grappling is up to par and solid. good takedown offense, good takedown defense, good striking. Whereas Rodriguez, she does have a weak area in grappling. Like you could potentially go up against a real good grappler that could put her on her back and grind her out to a decision. And Calvillo has that ability to do that. I feel like if Rodriguez could keep improving, she could keep it on her feet long enough, she can definitely put up volume. She will put up a whole rack of volume and do a whole rack of damage in a little amount of time. But where I'm going to lean to Calvillo in this fight and like start to lean to Calvillo and pick Calvillo in this fight is that Rodriguez really at this level hasn't fought a fighter that's really around her size, because Calvillo is a bigger strawweight. She fought Tisha Torres, who's a tough and strong strawweight, but she's really could be a atomweight. She's very small, 5'1", undersized, and it didn't work out for her in that fight. And plus, she was kind of on the skid, whereas Calvillo is probably the biggest 145 she's fought, and not 145, but one of the bigger strawweights. And she's a skilled, tough strawweight that has tools that can be dangerous against Rodriguez. So I feel like Rodriguez going against a bigger strawweight that can kind of match her size in a way, probably be stronger than her, and has more tools than her, especially being able to take it and mix it up the ground game with Rodriguez. I definitely think that's going to give Rodriguez a lot of issues. I think Calvillo shown, I forget who she fought, but she fought that real tough Brazilian chick that was just destroying chicks. And when she put on the ground, it made her look like amateurish. I'm not saying she's going to make Rodriguez amateur. I think definitely on the ground, she can really neutralize Rodriguez heavy, score a lot of points. And in that fight, like I said, in that fight with that monster Brazilian chick, she showed that she can fight smart. She I'm not going to go out there and just stand and bang with every chick or do this. Like, if I need to do something different to win a fight, I can do that. And that was a good thing I saw in that fight from Calvillo. And I think she could do the same in this fight. I don't think it'll be an easy fight, but I think the mixing in the grappling with the striking and using her full MMA game is going to lean the fight to her size, and her full MMA game is going to, and experience as well, is going to make me lean to Calvillo to get this one via decision. So in this fight, I got Cynthia Calvillo via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the heavyweight division, Alistair Overeem versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So looking at this fight, you got two top-notch strikers, two world-class strikers going against each other. You got Rozenstruik, who just been running through, everybody been having broken power as far as in the UFC. And his kickboxing, I don't think it was broken. I don't think his earlier MMA fights it wasn't broken, but so far in his UFC fights, his striking power has been broken. Knocking dudes out with just a jab, and not even a phenomenal jab. Just been knocking everybody out, knocking Arlovski out with a slight check hook, not even the perfect cleanest check hook, but it's like a slapping check hook, and he put him to sleep. So he's been looking very scared right now. You got Overeem, who is Overeem. That's all you gotta say. But kind of get to the prediction of this one. Overeem was 6'4", 39. Rozenstruik is 6'2", 31. So Rozenstruik is definitely the younger fighter, definitely in his prime. And Overeem is Overeem. You don't even know where Overeem's prime is. Overeem can always come back and start finding strides as he is right now. I think with a lot of fight, I'm gonna kind of just get to the point of this one right here and not try to drift off, because you could drift off forever, because Overeem has 100 fights. So you could be talking about this, talking about that, different eras and ages of Overeem. But I think the prediction is pretty clear for this one. And either way, it's not really a bad prediction whether you pick Overeem or you don't pick Overeem in this one. Because in this fight, you got Rozenstruik, who has that power, and Overeem has a glass chin. So a gust of wind can knock Overeem out. So definitely this guy's power can knock him out. But kind of with every fight with Overeem, that's not nothing new for Overeem. That if you touch his chin, you could put him out. Overeem's he's not a fighter that's going to his chin's good. He has the same threat of getting knocked out by just about everyone. He could fight a welterweight, and he would have the same threat level of getting knocked out as he has against Rozenstruik. So that's nothing new. But if Rozenstruik had more experience in MMA, I would lean to him in this one. But I feel like his experience is going to be the biggest factor. We might look at the power and the power of Rozenstruik and the chin of Overeem. But I think where I'm asking on different from maybe a typical prediction in this one, that it's the experience of Overeem versus the lack of experience of Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik has some decent amount of fights, but MMA wise, he still is a very developing fighter. And as far as the striking game, he has a solid striking game, but you kind of know his tools. He has a real good check hook, and he has a real good high kick off the other side, and he has a pretty decent jab. It's not textbook, but it's a very solid jab, and all those things he definitely can knock Overeem out with. I feel like Overeem is much better at angles. He's a longer fighter and definitely a more well-rounded fighter. He's went against some dangerous strikers recently. And Rozenstruik, as far as some of these recent fights, I think he could have a similar blueprint. It's a fighter with a lot of power, a lot of striking, a lot of skills, but still kind of needs to develop his grappling. Rozenstruik really been getting by this by being able to muscle his way back to his feet, or wait his time to get back to his feet, or defending shots on takedown. But Overeem can definitely mix in the strike and make Rozenstruik, like kind of we did with Junior Santos, but different in a little bit of way. Kind of we did against Junior Santos, Struve, and a couple other fighters where he Arlovsky, where he mixes the angles and like kick from one angle, switch stance. Give Rozenstruik a lot of different looks. Then maybe get Rozenstruik to go long on that check hook and duck under and get a shot and put him on his back. And Overeem's ground and pound has always been vicious. And I don't think Rozenstruik has developed his ground game that well to really be able to deal with Overeem if Overeem is able to really start to find success with his grappling in this fight. I think Overeem I was not gonna have no answer to power with his chin. Like he's not gonna be able to take it, but I don't think Rozenstruik necessarily gonna have an answer to Overeem's grappling and his ground and pound and his physical force, his ability to clinch. I think Overeem fights a veteran fight, mixes up the angles, sets up gets Rozenstruik to react, gets some takedowns, and really fights a veteran performance. I think eventually he wears him down and gets him down long enough to start to really land some, clean ground and pound on Rozenstruik, and I think he puts him out of there in the third round. So in this fight, I got Alistair Overeem via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC on ESPN, Overeem versus Rozenstruik. And as always, thanks for watching.